from a different audience point of view. So what I will say, Matt, is it's a beautiful variety because, you know, I know we had those battle royals and stuff like that, and there are some guys that, they probably work on a lot more of these sort of local circuits, but it's great exposure for them as well. I mean, I just like the way that they use all the talent, you know, that they can sort of get their hands on, you know, and give everybody sort of a fair chance of a go in the ring, which I think is really good. And, you know, there wasn't anything there that I thought shouldn't have been. I thought like they were all really good. I was very impressed with the tag team as well, Aussie Open. I thought they were good. I've wanted to see them again. I know that we saw them at Hello Wembley as well when they won, but yeah, there was some terrific matches. I will say that the progress, the title match, Volta and Trent Seven, again, another guy that we had an opportunity to interview as well. I mean, every time I see Volta in person, I'm just becoming more and more of a fan. Probably because I'm a little bit, you know, maybe I'm a bit more of an old school fan of the old style. And I know he was talking about that as well, about kind of having that. And, you know, he is very stiff in the ring. There's no doubt about it. I mean, when he's throwing shots, Matt, you can literally hear them and you feel them being that close to the ring as we were, because it is quite an intimate setting at the Ali Pali. And I mean, that match was just nuts. I mean, Trent Seven's body must have been pretty hurting the next day, I would imagine. But it was a great match, and for him, you know, it was great because I know I've seen him at WrestleMania's NXT TakeOver, which was great. I'm glad he's got that exposure, but it also made me feel a little bit sad that will we really get to see that level that much if he went up to the WWE roster? Would we really see that Volta? You know, I've got to say, from my experience and my knowledge, I would say no. But, you know, it would be a real shame because there is something there very different to what we normally see. And I do think he has a very unique, old sort of mentality, but it's good in a way. I mean, he'd be a perfect heel. But a heel going bell to bell, not with all the other crap that we have to see sometimes. Like, I can just imagine what would happen if he went to the main roster. He'd probably get like a William Regal style gimmick or something ridiculous like that, and they probably wouldn't really know how to best use him. But I mean, he's a fabulous wrestler, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm super impressed. Matt, I mean, other than that, you know, we know we spoke about David Starr, and we'll get to him more on that as well. But was there anybody else that took your eye, you know, that night, Matt? Because I know that we saw Kyle O'Reilly was pretty decent as always, fantastic technical wrestler. Was there anybody else that sort of took you by surprise?
Well, you know, we did mention him a little bit earlier, but I'll throw him out there again. Paul Robinson, for people that haven't really seen much of his work.
Yeah, look him up.
He seems to be strapped himself on a rocket. You know, he's heading straight up those ranks. You know, and he's quite honest. He knows like his position in wrestling. Mm-hmm. He is kind of a hobby or a part-time thing for him. You know, he has another job, so he just does it because he loves it, because he enjoys it, because it's something he's passionate about. That's great. And when you see him in that ring, you can tell. I mean, he gives a lot of himself out there, puts his body through a lot, that's for sure. So yeah, and his character, you know, this guy lives and dies in. Every time we saw him, there was an element of this character coming out, and let's just say, you know, he's never going to make it to WWE probably, because it's so, like, his character is so un-PG, it's unreal.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that happening. But like you say, he is a tremendous talent. For anybody that doesn't know of Paul Robinson, or you might be listening abroad or all the rest of it, go check him out on you know, try and find him. And better than that, go to Progress Wrestling on Demand. You'll see everything there, because that's you know, he's got a really good gig there. And I was kind of pleased he won that match, you know, Jimmy Havoc's last match, because I think that gives him a real platform now to cement himself further for you know, big upcoming feuds, hopefully against guys coming in from the US again, which would be excellent for him going forward. So I was really pleased about that. Now, of course, you know, other talent that were there, as we said, we had a lot of NXT UK guys there. We had Volta there. We had women there as well, Matt. I mean, it was what's her name's last match? Jeannie as well, wasn't it? She's now off as well. So There was a lot of farewells, but there seems to always, like you say, Matt, there seems to be that happening. But it goes to show what talent they have, that they're all sort of being picked up and signed. But again, it just gives room for somebody else to come along and take that spot, which is kind of what you want in that business. But yeah, we saw those matches. Some good stuff, and then of course on the final day, Matt, we had besides the death match, we had the finals of the Super Strong Style 16, which was, I mean, just an epic finale. Like, sometimes you get to the finals and it's like you say, sometimes it's so heavily driven on story that, do you want to see the match or not? In this one, I wanted to see the match. I felt like I've got to say, Matt, and, I know a lot of people think, he's jumping on the bandwagon, but trust me, we've been to a lot of live shows, especially in this country, especially back in the day when I used to go into a lot of the UK stuff. I'm talking about the old FWA and IPW and, all these promotions that were around, all these indies. I've got to say, the atmosphere that I experienced during that last match, because both guys were really over with the crowd, like it was kind of a 50-50 split. I've never been in a place where I felt like fans passionately, and I mean passionately, are rooting for the guy. And they're not rooting for the guy because they're talking in third person or they're looking at it from a work. They were looking at it for the first time in a long time. I've been to a wrestling show, I'm telling you. I was there amongst adults, not kids, but adults who were literally so freaking passionate. I mean, they were cursing at each other. They were really getting behind their guys, Matt. And it's just something I haven't experienced for a long, long time. Now, we were sitting there, of course, working, but for that match, I kind of took myself out of that hat and watched it as a fan, and I was so amazed at how good they were at bringing the fans in, the pacing, and more than that, it just made me feel like a fan again of wrestling. It made me sort of reconnect with why I liked wrestling in the first place, and from a live experience. It's something that I haven't felt for a long, long time, and I throw that in there with things like, I went to SummerSlam with Matt, a few years back, and we've even done NXT, the Takeover show, which I always rate highly. But I'm telling you, even putting it against that, I would say that this was just a completely different vibe. In just having people around me that weren't sitting there sort of going, well, he'll win this because of this, or he's going to roll him up. They just weren't doing that, and it becomes so. Almost when I go to a WWE show, that's all I ever hear. I hear people, the row back of me or to the side of me. They're kind of talking about it as if this is now a TV show, and we're just there because we happen to have bought a ticket. But we know there's going to be nothing. Kind of, they're always foreseeing things. With this, I felt like everybody was in the moment, and I haven't experienced that for a long time. Matt, what was your experience of that match? I mean, I might be just going off on one, but for me, I was quite surprised at how that experience for that last match.
Oh no, I totally agree with that. I feel like 99% of the people in that room all had the same emotions and the same feelings about this match. I mean, of course, you can never please 100% of the people. There's always going to be someone sitting there going, oh, yeah, well, I saw that coming. Yeah, but, everybody, like, for the majority, was fully invested in this. And it just goes to show as well how far Jordan Devlin's come along. Because, people used to compare him to Finn Balor and say, oh, he won't be as good as him. Let's just say, like, on some levels, he's better than Finn Balor. I'm not going to say, like, at every level. I'm not going to say like wrestling wise or like on the mic, whatever. I'm just saying that they're two very different characters and they do very different things. And it's so easy to distinguish them now as two separate wrestlers. So they shouldn't even be compared to one another, because he definitely stepped into his own that night and showed that he can perform, at the highest level. Yeah,
star quality, no doubt about it. But the winner, David Starr, I mean, it was great doing the interview with him. We were treated very, very well. It was great for us press, because we got before the show started and after, and having that interview straight after a guy's won that was like gold for us, because It was great because he's a great talker and he likes to talk. I got that sense, but and also just seemed so authentic. Like, it seemed a great interview. Yes, he was sort of half talking, but you could tell there was an element, Matt. I mean, this wasn't, well, my character's won. This is, he's won. He's done that, and I know he said in the interview, if he, kind of dropped a few hints that this is something that might come out in a couple of years in a shoot interview of what happened that weekend. But that's the magic of it, isn't it, Matt? When you can kind of bring a little bit of realism to some of this stuff, a little bit of real life, and just goes a long way, because you could tell there was genuine emotion for that guy winning. I mean, that guy's smile. It was amazing, Matt. It was almost making me smile back at him, every time he was doing it, because he was legitimately that happy, and you felt happy for him, that this is a guy that's deserved it. Matt, let me ask you, if we were watching at home, and like we normally do with a podcast, we review these matches. I mean, take that match alone, Matt. I mean, what would we have given that? Would that have been, compared to what we normally get, would we have given that something extraordinarily high? Because, we review matches, but I mean, I can't say that. I mean, if we saw that in WWE, we would probably be giving it at least 4.5, right? Or maybe 5, easily.
They definitely did a great job of building up. It felt like every match was hard to top, but they did a good job of building on it and making it that way. And by the time we reached the final, people were so pumped and ready for it, and we all knew it was going to be a good match, and it didn't disappoint. That's very hard to do when you're doing a 16-man tournament like that over 3 days. Yeah.
So, overall, an amazing experience for us, and I recommend anybody that can get to those shows to go. I mean, they do shows in London quite a bit. Electric Ballroom, they do a lot of shows in, but they are going to be back at the Ali Pali as well in September. So literally, if you want tickets, you want to look into getting them, go to the website, Progress Wrestling, go on there. And if you want to kind of like me, myself, I'm literally signed up now to their on demand, because since I've come away from this, I've kind of want to know more about them. I want to watch past stuff, and you won't be disappointed. It's a really good deal as well. So, can't put that over enough. It's a real good positive experience from me anyway. Thumbs up. And also, we've got a podcast episode out of an interview that took place with Travis Banks as well. That was recorded as a podcast, so you can go and check that out as well. That was cool. It was a very intimate setting as well. Overall, thumbs up from me on that one. Okay, moving on, Matt. Much to the sort of across the pond, as we say. The WWE, Matt, certainly a lot gone on since WrestleMania, and I don't want to go through everything because we'll be here all night, but we've had a shake-up, then we've had a rethink, then we've got a wild card. We've had all sorts of things happen to sort of suit whatever they want. We've had people going backwards and forwards 3 to 4 times. I still don't know where some people are actually at because it's so confusing. But yeah, wild card is their latest thing, and then it was 3, then it's 4, but then there's 5. I don't know if anyone can count. Very, very ridiculous. But it seems like Roman is never going to leave Raw at this rate, is he? The ratings, Matt. I mean, it's all about the ratings. It seems like it's getting more and more desperate every time Raw comes on at the minute. They're trying things, but my God, Matt, they are. I mean, I don't think it's the wild card they need to think about. I think they really need to think about the way the formula is working at the moment. Is certainly not appeasing the WWE fans that were switching on a Monday night. Because ratings-wise, which is what we're talking about now, it has just been shockingly bad. I'm talking about straight after WrestleMania, still not exactly tremendously good. It's just crazy on a massive decline. I know that years ago people were sort of suggesting, well, wait until it gets. They won't start anything until it drops below 3. Well, it dropped below 3. Still nothing really changed. We had Roman then. Then a few years back, they're like, well, I'll never go under